I was just looking through your investor day in November, and you sort of talked about sort of 4 focus areas: developing a strong supply chain, environmental sustainability, digital capabilities, and employee value equation. So these are your focus areas, and maybe you want to just speak a little bit about, you know, how they're sort of shaping the company right now.
Yeah, so I got a lot of pressure when I got into this job from the street, from the board, from the organization. They said, you know, what is going to be your legacy? And I said, I want to be the CEO that no one remembers. They said, why? And I said, well, first, that'll mean I didn't do anything horribly wrong.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of pressure to say, you know, what's going to change under your leadership. So the way that I kind of navigated that was I said, all right, our strategy is not going to change. And if you force me to change it, then I'm not going to be here. I'm not the right guy, because I believe so strongly in this. And I spent so much of my time and effort and life fixing this whole thing. But I'll give you something. I'll give you 4 focus areas. And these are not new strategies, but they're designed to strengthen the execution of our strategy. Supply. During COVID, in the US and in Canada, we had about 24% of our SKUs on allocation, meaning that we weren't able to meet demand. That's not a good place to be in. And we found as we went through COVID that we were heavily dependent on single sources for some of our materials, ingredients, and finished product in the case of contract manufacturers. And so I said to the team, we have to totally rethink supply. And we call it Supply Chain 3.0. It's much more automated. It costs a lot less. I'll give you an example: quality. Of course, we watch very carefully the quality of the product that we're producing and selling into the marketplace. And typically what happened historically was we would take product off a manufacturing line, it would go into a warehouse, or it would sit at the end of the line for a week or 2. Then we would test that product to make sure that it met our quality standards. And if it didn't, well, that wasn't good, because we've been producing for that whole 2-week period of time an off quality product, so we had to scrap all of it. So as part of the new supply chain, through AI, you mentioned that earlier, and some other tools, what we're trying to do is measure quality in real time as ingredients come in the back door. And we know what, you know, the combination of ingredient specs and electrical amplitude and all sorts of other things, what has historically led to a problem. So we're able to identify that right now. We have sensors all the way down the line, cameras all the way down the line. Every baby diaper that gets made under the Pampers or Love's brand name is photographed 100 times from the start of production until the end of production. Just an example. But anyway, so we're really trying to revolutionize the way that we supply products to the market. Employee value proposition. We talked about superior, you know, operating in categories where performance drives brand choice and you better perform. We contextualize that in a concept that we call superiority. And we need to be superior product, package, communication, go-to-market, and value. How are you going to maintain that ecosystem of superiority if you're not able to recruit, develop, and retain some level of superior talent? It's not going to happen. And how are you going to accomplish that if you don't have a superior value proposition for them? So we need to get serious about delivering that value proposition in a way that's relevant for each person, which sometimes needs to be somewhat customized, and ensuring that people understand the value proposition that we're putting in front of them. You know, I described the company's value proposition to me earlier when we started this conversation. The learning, contributing, all in an ecosystem, which I'm comfortable in. But other people have different. But anyway, we weren't doing that. as deliberately as we need to. If you're going to have a superior value proposition for a broad employee base, I don't see how that can happen without a notion of equality being right at the center of it. By equal, I don't mean the same. I mean an equal opportunity. There has to be something in it for everybody. Right? So that makes us start thinking very deliberately about things like diversity and inclusion. And I believe very, very strongly in that as necessary for winning. If we're going to attract the best talent in the world, we need to look through the widest aperture lens possible. If we're going to develop the best leaders in the world, we need to do it with the widest impact possible. And if you just look at the US, in the next 10 years, all of our growth, 100%, is going to come from multicultural consumers. Those are the fastest growing populations in the United States. And if we don't have an employee population that understands, has empathy for, can communicate with, and can serve those consumers, we lose. Right? But none of that gets delivered if you don't have a noticeably superior value proposition.